Hey, this is Allie Edwards, and in this video I want to give you a walkthrough of the first half of 2018 for my Project Life album. Now obviously this is from last year, and one of my reminders to myself is that our stories don't expire, right? So we can come back and tell stories at any different point in time. Obviously, sometimes those stories will change over time. We will have different perspectives, we will look at things differently, we will have learned lots of lessons along the way. I'm totally okay with all of that. So I have the first half of 2018 done. I'm working on the second half of 2018 for Project Life. This year, as many of you guys know, I'm doing Project Life differently, so I'm tackling it on a monthly basis, and I'm working on June right now, rather than a weekly basis. But in 2018 and all the years before that, from 2010 until 2018, I did weekly. And so I'm continuing with weekly in my 2018 as I go back in and tell the rest of those stories. So many of the spreads that you will see in here are ones that I have done for my Story Kit classroom. So when you subscribe to the Story Kit or the Story Stamp or just the digital version, you get access to a classroom, and each month I do 4 process videos. Sometimes they're quick and easy, sometimes they take a little bit longer. They always include a Project Life spread. So you'll see some in here that are directly from those, and there are process videos that went along with that subscription as well. One of the things for me that's always been the case in Project Life, especially in the weekly, is coming up with some sort of design formula and then consistently following that throughout the one spread. Like here you can see I put numbers on chipboard hearts. I used label stickers, which is something that I often do to add on to the photos and add a little bit more to them. Here you can see I used what are called story cards. We often have these in the kits. They're little 2x3 or 2x4 cards. I often will use those on top of the photos as the let's see, what do I want to call that? As the embellishment that kind of links everything all together. When I do it weekly, I always use a title card. Sometimes it has a quote on it, sometimes it's a pattern card. Almost always have the date, or always do have the date on there as well. My Project Life tends to be photo heavy, but I also do like getting the words on there as well, and you can see that as we go through here. So the unifying thing on this spread was white pen, using a white pen with then these puffy star embellishments. Another one here, these are label stickers with chipboard hearts, and so you can see that I've repeated that and then used a day of the week stamp. So in my 2018, or in my weekly Project Life, I look at it as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The photos aren't always exactly in that order. It might be 2 from Sunday or 2 from Saturday, but that's the flow. And then the flow, usually in the 3x4 section, goes from, you know, the start of the week over to the end of the week there as well. Let's see, coming in here, this is going into February. We saw Katy Perry last year in February, so I added in some inserts here to tell that story, taking Anna and Audrey to that concert. Super fun experience. In this one, you can see I wrote on some of the photos just a little bit. There, added on a couple banner stickers, but really following a very similar thing. This was Anna's birthday week then here, but I'm using half circles, another thing I like, to add those on there. Court of Honor for Simon. So adding things in, just taking 8.5 by 11 and putting those in as well. Half circles. Again, that I think having one repeated embellishment treatment throughout the spread really helps me to get these kinds of stories told in this project specifically. And if you go back in time and you look at my older Project Life albums, you're gonna see the same thing. Like, this is something that I've just done forever. Here's 2018 Day in the Life. I was doing that inside of Project Life this year for Day in the Life. I'm doing it twice. We did it once already. We'll do it one in the fall. And I'm doing it inside a 3x8 album this time. But you can see that time we were documenting a few different things there. Continuing on, so this one, the treatment that I did is I just did little word phrase stickers and then did a white border around them with a white pen. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be really simple and easy. These are this one says story thoughts, and these were little, a little notepad, I think actually like maybe a 3x3 or 2x, well, it's bigger than 2x2. Doesn't look like it's all the way 3x3, but a little note card set or notepad set that I rounded the corners there on those before I added them onto the pictures. But again, a super easy way to add a little bit more content or a little bit more context to the photos themselves. And I definitely love looking at these albums. For me, thinking about, do I want to go back to doing it weekly? Do I want to stay with the monthly? I haven't decided yet. But I know that I love looking back at these weekly spreads. But I also don't work on them right in real time too. And that was a little bit of a challenge for me, but not anything that I couldn't overcome if I wanted to go back to doing it that way. This one I added on tags here with some ribbon on a few of those spread across the spread there. Then I did circles here, circles with chipboard, actually larger chipboard, and then stamped on top. Again, simple, easy graphic repetition. This one, the repetition here was these note to self 3x4 cards, and I've got some hearts, puffy hearts on there, different places with initials for the different people. Here's one where I stamped. I used a large alphabet or a day of the week stamp set to just stamp directly onto each one of those photos and added a puffy asterisk there, gold foil asterisk. Again, simple, easy. Here's some half circle ones that I added to tell a little bit more about each one of those stories as well. The repetition on this spread you can see is across the middle, so some tags, 3x4 tags that I added a little bit of ribbon to and put right on top, and just a little bit of information. Had really the strong repetition going through the middle this time rather than on the outside, but I did do quite a few white plastic pieces that are on top of some of those photos. Not on all of them, but on many of them. Here on this spread, I liked mixing it up by having a black background with white text. I create those in Photoshop, just make a black background and have white text on top and then print it. Simple repetition of Monday story, Tuesday, Wednesday story. I think I was missing a couple of them, so I just added in like hello real life and remember this. Adding in a newspaper too, that was something that was kind of fun to add in there. Audrey's picture was on there. Here you go, you can see again, simple repetition across the spread here for my journaling cards. So you don't always have to use a variety of different kinds of journaling cards. You can just add simple ones that with a little embellishment, and then also adding in day of the week transparencies there onto each one of my photos. And this one looks like some of it was half circles, some of it was label stickers. Again, just an opportunity to add a little bit more of the story there as well. Lots of circles on this one, and having them in different places so they're not necessarily stuck right in the middle. Some of them are on the middle that go, are interacting with the edge, some in the corner, a couple different kinds of circles there, and then pairing that with a finding joy in the everyday. This one, let's see, what do we have here? This one I did something along the bottom where I had my repetitive element was a strip of pattern paper, and then I also did a strip of text, and I did that on each one of them, so you can see each one of those was custom made and printed out and then added on there. This, I believe, was the week in the life week that I did, or the week that I did a week in the life in 2018. So I just did really simple additional extra photos. I used some journal cards from the last year's week in the life kit, cut them up and paired them with my photo, and then added a cork sticker on top. So I didn't add any words in this spread because all of the words are in my week in the life album. All right, here's another one. So on this one, I used numbers plus circle stickers as my repeated embellishment across the spread, right? Days 1 through 7. Did an enlarged photo of Anna here from probably her spring program at school. In this case, my repeated embellishment was a vertical journaling strip that I took. This was actually on one 4x6 card that was included in a story kit, and I just cut that up and then added it on to each one of my photos. These two had a couple little different things there. This one I played around with colored backgrounds. So I have colored backgrounds here with white type on top, and then repeated similar treatment for each one of those, except that one where this didn't fit. So this is a stamp, Mondays are for, and it has, you know, all the full day of the week. And then I used cards where I cut off the top part of the journaling card and added those onto the photos there. So Monday through Sunday. Let's see, in this one it looks like I played around with label stickers a little bit and stamping on label stickers. Kind of some bright colors mixed in, and then word phrase stickers on top there. This is one I just put together for a newer kit, and I'd already had this one done. This was an insert for a trip that I took last spring, and I needed to add in this extra page here, so I went ahead and did that. You can see that there's a couple repeated photos, but that was okay. Here's another one that I did recently that has a bunch of cards. These were available in the shop, I believe last year. You could probably find a digital version of them in there, where I just was able to use the top of the cards, and then I cut and trimmed my photos to fit onto the cards themselves, and then used a couple of them for journaling there as well. And I think we've just got one more here. This one has a bunch of different hearts with word phrase stickers on top. It also has some label stickers, just kind of a mix of a bunch of different things, some stamping on there too. And then I don't always do anything on the back. I know sometimes people have like a transition page or something like that. I'm not really super concerned with that. I'm more concerned about moving on to the next, the other half of 2018. So that's what I'll be working on slowly but surely next, but I wanted to give you guys just a look at what the first half of 2018 in my Project Life album looks like, and let me know if you have any questions.